Hey there, welcome to the Joyful Rebels podcast. We've got Claire and Donna Thomas here, your mother daughter duo. And today we're going to talk about it's time for a digital cleanse.
Ooh.
So, what are we talking about here? We're talking about a break from social media, or at least an evaluation of your time spent there. So, why? Why this topic? It's really top of mind for me. I was able to take the family on a short little getaway. They had some fall break over last week, which is nuts because I don't remember ever having a fall break when I was growing up. But, anyways, they had 3 extra days off school. So we're like, we're going to hop over to Mississippi. Um, and I took a bit of a break from social media. Now, full disclosure, it wasn't totally planned that way, but when we're going down to the beach or down to the pool, I didn't want to bring my phone with me in my bag because my eyes weren't on it the whole time. And they didn't have lockers. And I was kind of like, ooh, I don't want to worry about, losing it or someone taking it. So I left my phone in the room the whole time, like basically the whole day for 3 days, which is
Hmm.
the longest I've been away from my phone in I don't know how long. So it felt like a pretty decent break from social media. The downside was that I didn't get any pictures.
Hmm.
Long gone are the days where I'd go out and you'd have your phone and your camera. But the great news was I wasn't scrolling and I was there and I was in the moment. And I think all of us listening, we have that awareness, and we've talked about it on the podcast before, of some of the downsides of social media. And we'll get into more of those in a little bit. But it felt really good. It felt really good. And what did we talk about last week? We talked about quick ways that we can do a mental health reset, especially as we're transitioning into seasons with less daylight, maybe a little bit cooler out depending on where you live. And so this week we want to zoom in and talk more about what we can do to take a bit of a break from social media. Is that showing up for you at all, Mom, this week?
Yeah, totally. Although I love that even when you wanted to have your camera to, get pictures of the family and, capture this moment digitally, that if it was a compulsion for you, you would have brought your camera no matter what. Like you were able to just think it through a couple of steps and make a decision that worked. So I like um, I have had times where even when I didn't think it was a great idea to bring my phone, I brought it anyway because I couldn't picture life without it.
Mm.
So that's a great place to be in. I never want to miss a chance to celebrate some of the on the continuum of things of actions that we take that further get us in alignment with the things that feel good. So I think that is a huge win for you too, Claire. And that even though I'll miss the pictures because I love to see that, but then that makes me pay more attention when we're in person. So no downside there. Yes, this is an ongoing thing for me. I will be really honest about it. I hope I have been throughout this, the whole time that we share things on, this podcast. But I'm still detoxing from. I had a job that required social media, and really had it where you'd use your personal page to um, just advance things that just weren't happening in my life, but in my professional life as well. So I'm doing my best to untangle that. And for me, it's about limiting my time. And what I'm finding is my first step is to take whatever the app is, whatever, if it's, Instagram as an example, I'll take that off my home screen, which
Mm.
seems really easy. And almost I'll call that the Halloween candy syndrome. It's like, what do anybody else do this where you buy Halloween candy early? I don't know why we do that, but we do it. And there's nothing wrong with candy, but you're buying something in bulk that most of us tend to like, and then you'd hide it somewhere. But you're the one that hid it. So you know where it is. So that seems like so ludicrous to do that. But I feel the same way about taking an app off, my home screen. I know where it is, but I am delighted at the times where when I pick my phone up and it lights up and that's not the first thing I see, it doesn't catch my attention then. So at least I have a few more seconds to respond as opposed to react because I just saw it.
Mm.
So taking something off my home screen gives me a running shot at it. And I think that's really helpful. The other bookend to that for me is that I have a cutoff time at night. And if and it goes for texting for me too, for the most part, unless it's you guys, just my core tribe, that I don't respond, I don't look. I put my phone in the other room sometimes. But I won't look at social media at night because I'm really trying to spend time with my husband, and I'm trying to do this thing that allows me to continue to disentangle from that pull and that lure of looking at somebody else's life and
Mm,
sit and feel that contented feeling that we've talked about before. I don't want to miss that. If I have done some work during the day or engaged with some people that feels meaningful, that's in alignment with how I want to live my life, I feel contented at night. I don't want to short shrift that. I want to feel it. I don't want to be looking at somebody else's life and what they're doing because I'm human. What am I going to do? Start comparing it, start looking at how it can be more. I want to see things as they are, not how I want them to be, hope that they are, dream that they are. That's not the time for me to do that. It's just not the time. That's what I've learned about myself. So I'll take things off my home screen. I will shut it down at night. And that's the language I use. That feels really good because then
mm.
it shut it down. You're done. You're done. And that allows me some space and some time because one last thing on that. When I know I'm on whatever your app is of choice that you tend to go to more often, for me, the first thing I notice when I know it's too much, I just start getting impatient.
Mm.
Not with the app, not with pretty much any interaction I have, but mostly with myself. I get impatient and I didn't know why. I'm a little more short-tempered. I'm a little more reactionary. And when I feel like I'm walking and I'm doing are going in the same direction and I have some synergy, I can notice that subtle change. And that's giving me a clue. And now I feel as though I can act on it in really good conscience that I'm adding to and contributing another vote for my future self.
Well, I think it's really interesting how you pointed out that you notice that you're feeling impatient or you're in
Mm,
that reactionary mode, because that is, if you look up kind of a laundry list of some of the negatives or the consequences of spending too much time on social media, that's right up there, is that
mm,
feeling frustrated. And it's, again, not just at the apps or when you're in it, but it affects your personality and your time outside of it. And so again, it's not, social media, it seems like it's this bubble, we're looking down at it, but it can start to then infiltrate how you're feeling, in the rest of your day, with the people that you love, with the people that you're interacting with. So if you're listening and you're wondering, you know, does this apply to me? Do I need to take maybe a break from social media or a digital cleanse? You can ask yourself some questions. Do you check your phone the second that you wake up in the morning? And mom,
mm,
you had mentioned one of the tips of
mm-hmm,
not doing that. And we talked about last week is when you're first waking up is one of those kind of tender times
mm-hmm,
where you're not fully alert, conscious yet. So, is social media the first thing you want to be putting in your brain at those moments? No, probably not. So,
mm-hmm,
do you check your phone right when you wake up? And I'll be honest, this is a hard one for me. It's something I'm actively working on, because when I get up and I have a few minutes and I don't want to dive right into the book I'm reading, like I feel like my brain is not ready for that. So I'm working on that. That's definitely something that I've noticed that I'm working on. But ask yourself, are you checking your phone right when you wake up or right at bedtime?
mm-hmm,
And I mentioned this last week, how I have been able to successfully make a shift from kind of doom scrolling as I lay there at night to reading. And so maybe it's not just reading. Maybe you're switching to listening to music or listening to a podcast or doing something where you're not just mindlessly scrolling through. Um, do you notice that you're checking for notifications all the time? Uh, do you feel discomfort surrounding social media? Like, I'll be honest, I've fallen prey to this before, but like caring too much about how many likes or comments that you've gotten on a post. Maybe we're all guilty of it. I'll tell myself that. But if you're feeling like you're concerned with that, then that can be a sign for you that you would benefit from taking a break.
mm,
Um, you just that awareness is really important. And also, we talked about, way back when, over a year ago, we talked about how comparison can be a good thing and a bad thing. And we identified social media as a highlight reel. And so
mm-hmm,
you might even be feeling negatively about yourself because all you're doing, even if you're aware of it up here, like up in your brain, I know this is just someone's best that they're putting out there. Again, their highlight reel. When your eyes are seeing and consuming all these perfect pictures and scenarios, you might get your emotions involved in that. And so there's actually been a bunch of studies out there that look at the benefits of taking a break. So I always think that's cool. There was a study in 2022 in the Journal of Cyber Psychology, which I did
Who
not know
knew?
was a thing. Yes. Um, they had people take a full week off of social media, and then they had them doing these surveys pre and post this week off of social media. And for their studies, social media meant TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, which we now call X, I believe. But they found in all the measures of well-being, there was a statistically significant increase in well-being for the groups that took time off social media, because there also was a control group that were told to just go about and spend their normal amount of time. They also saw statistically significant decreases in the levels of anxiety and depressive symptoms that people had. So overall, feeling better, more good feelings, less bad feelings from taking that week off. Now you might feel like, that's a lot. Taking a full week off. Maybe you're like, I don't know that I could do that. My phone's always in my hand. There was a 2018 study where they had people just limit their social media time to 30 minutes a day.
Hmm.
30 minutes a day. But they found similar results. Less reports of feeling lonely and depressed, less reports of feeling anxiety or that FOMO, that fear of missing out, because that is a reason that some people say they don't want to get off social media. Oh, I'm going to miss something. Someone from high school that just had a baby, and I didn't I didn't hear about it. So there are actual research showing that your well-being, your subjective well-being, your self-esteem can improve by taking a break from social media. So then how do we do it? And Mom, you gave us two great tips right off the bat. One of them, taking that app off your home screen. Because again, it's like hiding that Halloween candy. Although I'll say, when I hide the candy, it's so that my kids don't know. They're not getting the Reese's, okay? They can have everything but the Reese's. And one of my kids
Totally.
actually likes mounds. I'm like, great. That's good for you. I'm not going to judge. I might judge a little bit, but that's okay. So taking that app off your home screen, if it's not there, just make it a little bit harder, right? We talk about when we want to do a habit or do a habit more frequently and consistently, we remove barriers. So if we don't want to do something, add a little bit of a barrier. Even if it means having to swipe over a few to get there, that's enough of a barrier. And I like that. And I actually do that as well. I took all of my Instagram, TikTok, and I put that 3 swipes over. So when I'm looking down at my phone, I might be more tempted to open my library app. I'm not getting distracted by all that. So I love that. That's a great idea that I do as well. And having that cutoff time at night, I really like that too. I think that if you can limit your time or schedule a time when you're going to be doing your social media, then it doesn't just secretly infiltrate your whole day. Because I am also guilty of this as well. Again, it's that mindless. You don't even know that you're doing it, but it can still be having this effect on how you feel and how you're treating and reacting to situations and other people throughout your day. Other things that you can do, you can get apps that monitor how much time, or if there's one to do for today, go in your phone and your settings and just look at your usage, because you
Hmm.
can do that. Can you do that on an iPhone?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Hmm.
you can. Okay,
Hmm.
because I'm an Android over here. Uh, I'm not actually an Android, you know what I mean? Uh, you can go in and see, and I will tell you, I didn't feel great when I looked at mine the first
Hmm.
time. Oh my gosh, it was a wow. I didn't realize I was spending that much time. And then I try to tell myself, well, I'm posting for Joyful Rebels and da-da. No, it was all the times I wasn't thinking about, just mindlessly scrolling. So if you're going to do any of these tips in the next week, take a look at your usage and just get an idea of some of that awareness. What do you think, Mom? What are you going to be working on maybe for the next week?
Well, I definitely the time that I'm scrolling as well, because I've made the connection just now that scrolling and snacking tend to
Mm,
go together for me. Not that I do them at the same time, but if I'm going to mindlessly scroll, I can also mindlessly snack. So as I'm looking at my nutritional stuff, a whole nother conversation, but I love when things intersect, that when I'm not really plugged in for that part of my life, then this other part over here gets a little looser. So I love that if I pay attention to one area, it has an effect on another. So for me, I limit my time, and a good, probably like 45 minutes broken up into different chunks is probably realistic for me. Uh, but then I have a better awareness of what I'm putting in my mouth when I'm snacking. So I like that those go together, and I like that I just made that connection. So some of that is, again, I get to surprise and delight myself when I look at these things in my life and see how they're interconnected. That doesn't overwhelm me. That helps me understand the pieces of the puzzle a bit better. And then I put them together in a way that feels where we're all moving in the same direction and I'm not fighting each other. And that brings me that peace and ease that really, I believe we all deserve. I
Mm.
believe we all deserve that, especially when the world feels super heavy. Then I feel like I can ride the waves a little bit more because we're all moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I agree. And sometimes if you want to increase your peace and ease, it has to do with just paying a little bit more attention to
Hmm.
some of these little things. So these again are all tips that we mentioned that you can go and do today, tonight. But at the least, you're going to go check your usage and just get an idea. You know, we're all about awareness over here. We're going to work on it over here.
Hmm.
Y'all are going to work on it too. And we'll reconvene next week. Until next time, Rebels.